This is the crown jewel, Mr. Good as Gold. This is Connor Hopkins.
I am Eric S. Knight.
And I'm a league champion.
And we are the chosen prodigal sons, and this is the Shotgun Wrestling Radio podcast.
What's up, everybody? It's Leon King here, of course, the baddest of the baddest, and you are now listening to Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
This is Gavin Parker, and you're listening to Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
This is the mechanic Big Beasley, and you are listening to Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
This is your deathmatch daddy, Bo Guy, and you're watching Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Shotgun Wrestling Radio. I'm your host, Zach Takis, and this week we are continuing our shows here this week with the second episode of Shotgun Wrestling Radio this week, and we are doing a preview show for Eminent Wrestling Alliance. It is the 1-year anniversary of Eminent Wrestling Alliance. They have a big show coming up this Saturday in Tama, Iowa at the Tama Ballroom, which, again, if you haven't been to the Tama Ballroom, it's a great venue for wrestling. And I'm very excited for this next guest that I have on. He's been a longtime supporter of the podcast, pretty much since day one, as far as I know. And again, we both have the mutual connection with being really good friends with Mr. Greg before he passed away. And, you know, it's kind of fitting that we're doing this on what would have been Zach's birthday. So I'm going to welcome in at this time the referee extraordinaire, Mr. Jonathan Bridges. And man, it is, again, look at the fine shirt you are rocking.
If you told me in 2019 when we were doing tapings over for Hall of Fame show that we'd be talking right now about wrestling, I would be calling you crazy, because me in front of the camera was not usually my cup of tea. So I'm excited to be here, though. For sure, I've been bugging you for a while to get in your ear to do this.
Yeah, again, man, I'm excited to have you on. And again, like you had mentioned yesterday, it's like, gosh, we're doing this on Greg's birthday today, which as we're recording this is today, and you know, it's kind of fitting. And I got a kick out of it when we're gonna tell some Greg memories here for a little bit, because it's been 4 years since he tragically passed away on us. And
right.
I really just got a kick out of it when he brought up on Mike Morgan's Facebook page earlier about the beer drinking contest, because at the Hall of Fame a few years back, because I remember, dude, that kicked Greg's ass for the rest of the weekend.
For sure, he wasn't doing anything at all. It's
nope.
Like, bad mistake.
When it was like, hey, you want to go do this? Dude, I'm so tired.
Go give me breakfast.
Right. And this was like Saturday morning, like, dude, let's go get breakfast. Dude, I'm so tired. Like, you just drank Thursday.
Right.
Oh man, stuff. That was great times with him at the Hall of Fame weekend. And again, the Hall of Fame, if you're more interested in more, I've been doing the Road to Hall of Fame series on the podcast feed. And but this week, like I said, man, we're Eminent Wrestling Alliance. Let's kind of talk a little bit about your background here. Like you said, a year ago or however long ago it was, you were kind of just finishing up your trading into, you know, referee kingdom, and now you're kind of one of the head referees for Eminent Wrestling Alliance.
It was kind of funny. I've been with Rugged Pro since day one. I've been with Eminent Wrestling Alliance since show 2 as a fan, going to all the shows. And Mr. Fouts was like, got a hold of me and said, hey, well, might want to save on some admission price and just, you know, take a rough course, see if you like it or not. And I realized I had the best seat in the house most of the time. So to see all these amazing matches and to meet and get to know the performers themselves, wrestling, the backstories, and yeah, it's been a blessing and amazing. So, and getting reps. Best thing about working in the Forge is you get reps. You make a mistake. For instance, I made one on Friday. Saturday, here I am again with another show. So get a chance to practice what you practice your craft, as well as continue to grow. I can't say enough good things about the Forge Wrestling Academy.
And, you know, for you, man, again, you've been doing this for quite some time now. You've gotten a lot. I think you said you just hit your 100th match that you refereed here just this past week. Yeah. Out of all those 100 matches, man, what's one that has really just stood out to you? That was one that you can actually go back and be like, God damn, that was a great one.
Funny, I was talking to Jimmy Wild on Saturday about that. Jimmy versus Gavin Parker, Grinnell, Iowa. Yep. Amazing match. It's like, I can't believe I just finished having that come back to the back glowing because it was such a great performance. It's like, wow. So that's the most memorable. Then also my very first match is always memorable too. I took a roll up. Jameson had Reggie in an airplane spin, and was dazed. And I got a pin 1, 2, and it was Reggie got Jameson in an airplane spin. Dizzy, roll me up 1, 2, 3. I'm pinned. So I'm 0-1.
Yeah, and again,
Yeah,
that Gavin Jimmy Wild match. If you guys are interested in the matchup, head over to YouTube. Just type in Gavin Parker versus Jimmy Wild. I was on commentary for that matchup, and yeah, that one is really, really damn good. And speaking of some great matchups here, let's go ahead and start running down what you can expect this Saturday in Tama, Iowa, at the Tama Ballroom for the Eminent Wrestling Alliance 1-year anniversary show. We have a feud, man, that has been going on that feels like since day one of Eminent Wrestling Alliance, and we're talking about a team of Supernova versus the Collaborators for the EWA Tag Team titles, and this just feels like, to me, the feud that never dies, man.
He tried to end it at one point with Cousin Tanya getting taken out of commission, not once but twice recently. So definitely, carburetors definitely have some revenge on their hands. But yes, they know each other so well. So only with my thinking about this match, how much is the main event, the Cage of Chaos, is going to impact it? Because both Beasley and Cousin JD are going to be in that. So they're playing double duty. So how much are they going to be working as a tag team, and how much are they going to be focused on trying to get the cage match, trying to get the #1 contendership? So it's kind of like so if I were to play a analyst, I would say Supernova has the advantage because they're focused. They've had the belts twice now, and they're definitely focused on getting them. And throughout the Midwest, they've been fighting. Recently, just had another match over in Gladbrook, I believe.
Yep,
I could be wrong, but yeah. And like I said, that's when the Gladbrook. That was the street fight, and that's when Cousin Tanya got taken out again with the concerto. So they've been going at it, and yeah, definitely a good one to see again, because you've seen them before. You're going to get your money's worth from the opening match.
Oh, and again, it just feels like this feud. It's kind of like your modern day Hardys versus Dudleys, or Edge and Christian versus, and vice versa. Because it's just that feud that's been chugging along here in Eminent Wrestling Alliance. And yeah, I mean, it's what better way than to culminate here at the 1-year anniversary show. And again, it's been a wild 1 year for Eminent Wrestling Alliance, and not a lot of times you see new promotions like this kind of come in and run as many shows as they have, because they're running pretty much,
Right.
It seems like once a month, it seems like.
Once a month, twice a month, and the summer's time coming up. It's we are busy. We got a crazy card coming up, and I'd say keep an eye on the Eminent Wrestling Alliance Facebook page for sure to keep up to date on everything that's happening, because we got shows coming up all over the Midwest, all over Iowa for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yep. As for Supernova and Cobbs, yeah, they don't like each other. It's obvious. And months and bunch of bad blood. So yeah.
Let's go ahead, man, and keep running on a list of matches that we got here coming up this Saturday. Tama, Iowa, I believe bell time is 6:30 p.m. So doors probably open about 6 p.m. You can get your tickets online now if you want. Just head over to Eminent Wrestling Alliance Facebook page, or you can get your tickets at the door as well. We have Colin Anthony versus Theron Edwards, and this one's interesting because if you know anything about Theron Edwards, they don't call him Wildfire for no reason. And as we had seen, as we were talking about that Grinnell show, I don't remember who it was that he faced Wes Wakefield, and he basically destroyed Wes in about 2 seconds. I mean, he kind of Braun Breakered him.
That's what Theron's been up to lately. It seems like every match that he's had has been I am on a mission. I am here to take you out. I am not getting paid by the hour. I am here to kick butt, get my paycheck, and get out of there. And he is definitely, no matter what, I always say Theron Edwards is all go. Wildfire, you're absolutely correct. That's his moniker, and that he lives that lifestyle. And Colin Anthony. That one's gonna be. He's better be ready. You'll see it. You'll see what. Check out the YouTube links. Check out what's happened. To say, for instance, can't think of his name. Brain fart. Dean Wilson. Dean Wilson's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Squash match. Spear. Another thing lately, it seems like his spear. He seems to have been perfecting his spear.
Yep.
It used to be a setup move, but it seems like not more lately, he's made it into put the Saito suplex to the side, and we're working on really more on that spear. So which can come out of anywhere. Comes out of the crowd and boom, spear like Goldberg 1, 2, 3. So Colin better be ready. Otherwise, it's gonna be a short night for him.
That it will be. And again, continuing on down the list here, we have Starla Love versus baby girl Kaya, with Kaya's sister refereeing this one. So you actually get this match off, my friend.
Always good to sit back and relax and be able to watch the action going. Not only is it a ladies match, but it's also a mid match. Being able to referee Hornswoggle, small packages coming they're big and strong. So both ladies are going to put on an excellent fight for sure.
And I know EWA management has been wanting to get this match on the card for quite some time too.
I remember being at a 21 and over show for Rugged Pro and seeing these two fight, and that was a interesting fight for sure. I don't remember much about it, but I remember it being like sit back, relax, and smile, and just enjoy two women just beating the heck out of each other. For sure.
Hey, now again, let's go back to a little bit about your time as being a referee, and for people who might be interested in making a step. Again, you went to the Forge Wrestling Academy, trained as your referee. What was the one thing for you when you were doing your training as a referee that surprised you the most? Because it is different from being a wrestler, but I know you guys still do a lot of the similar training that the wrestlers have to go through.
The thing is ring positioning most of the time, because for instance, you're in front of a camera. When you're in front of a camera, where your body is positioning, you don't want it to be about you. You gotta know the perfect balance of when to be in the spotlight, hey, enforce rules, or when to kick back, stay in the sidelines, let them be the show. So it's a perfectly fine balance. And besides that, just how grueling, how sweaty it can be. I have to bring a towel no matter what, because like even just standing there, I'm like, I can't believe how much sweat just comes from refereeing.
Well, and the other thing too that I don't think people have realized is you actually have to be in somewhat pretty good shape to be a referee, especially when I love the moments in the middle of matches. I know referees probably hate it, where they're doing the roll-ups back and forth, reverse roll-up, and they're just going back and forth, and you see the referee hopping from shoulder to shoulder to get the pin. I'm like, yeah, that takes some cardio strength there from you referees.
Oh, that's for sure. I've definitely lost a lot of weight between refereeing and my as a hobby, I do Taekwondo too. So those two combined, I've like dropped 30 pounds in the last year since I've been refereeing. So it's exercise, but it's good. Like I said, you have the best seat in the house. So most of the time it's great. But also you have to look out for the wrestler too, because their safety is number one priority. And sometimes you got to remember put their safety over the show itself, and got to know when to stop the matches. I haven't really had to have any that yet. We'll talk about that moment a little bit later. But yeah, your safety is number one priority for the wrestlers, making sure that they can be able to wrestle again. And if you can stop our injury from becoming serious, whether it's concussion, whether it's a broken leg or something like that, more power. So my advice is no only get your wrestling training, but go get your first aid training too.
Yep. Well, and even me as being like a commentator, I felt the need to kind of go get my first aid and get my CPR training done as well. Because I figure, any wrestling show I'm going to be on, hey, that's one more extra person that we have that's trained in CPR and first aid.
Exactly. It makes your resume look good too when talking about mouthpieces and what else can you bring to the table.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you said we're going to get to that here in just a little bit, talking about, protecting wrestlers from injury. But for
Yeah.
real quick, another great thing about Eminent Wrestling Alliance is obviously the connection with Rugged Pro. And we got a Rugged Pro Wrestling Championship match here this coming Saturday with Jay Fowler, the reigning defending Rugged Pro champion, defending his title against Alvin Gray.
Alvin Gray, he's part of the Midnight Cavalry, who currently are RCCW, River City Championship Wrestling tag team champions over in Wisconsin right now. So he's definitely no slouch. Just because you may not have been familiar with him, doesn't mean he is deserving of a shot at Jay Fowler. Honestly, when they had this matchup, I was surprised Jackson King didn't say, "Hey, I put a favor for you. I got your belt back at Rugged Pro. How about you do me a favor and get a shot?" But Rugged Pro management had different ideas.
That's
why I'm not Booker.
That they did. And again, we got this Rugged Pro Championship matchup coming up here this Saturday in Tama at the Tama Ballroom. Bell time is 6:30 p.m. And we had just talked, man, about injuries to wrestlers and how, as an official, you have to be leery of it. I know you were saying you almost threw the X sign up during this person's last matchup here this past Saturday. And of course, we're talking about Adam Love. He's supposed to be addressing his future in wrestling, and he's been in a lot of pain. I've been texting with him back and forth, just checking in on him ever since the match happened where he broke a couple of ribs, or what I believe it was a couple of ribs that he had busted up pretty good. And I know he had to be taken by ambulance to the hospital and stayed overnight in the hospital too, just to make sure that he would be okay. But as a wrestling fan and as a fan of Adam Love, I hope it's not what I think it could be, as he is getting ready to address the crowd here.
Right. Talk about that a little bit. It was a dive outside from the top turnbuckle to the outside. From my perspective, I thought he hurt his back. Replay shows it was his knee on the apron. So I thought that's all I saw. So I thought, hey, are you okay? Yes. Apparently, what happened was a neck and his chest ended up hitting a bench, and like you said, got taken to the ER, and it was a punctured lung and a broken rib possibly. And Adam has to think about Adam. Adam, wrestling is great, but he's also a family man. So what he has to say on Saturday, I think it's serious. I mean, if it was just, "Hey, I'm back. I see you down the road," he would put it already on his social media. But the fact that he wants to talk to us all, his friends, his family, as well as his fans, I think it's serious, and it could be what we're both thinking and something we don't want to hear. But I would say be there. Don't don't hear it secondhand. Be there so you can hear it directly from him, so you can be one of the first people to say, "Hey, I heard it there first."
Yeah, it's gonna be I think an emotional time no matter what Adam Love decides. I hope it's not I hope it's not for him. I hope it's not a rash or quick decision, considering it just happened. And we know how much of a fan favorite Adam is wherever he goes. The crowd just absolutely loves Adam Love. I mean, that's all there is to it. He's such a captivating character. I don't know, for years he kind of would joke he's not Jeff Hardy, even though he kind of does a lot of similar Jeff Hardy isms. But that's okay because he puts his own twist on him. So I'm very curious to see what the future is going to hold for Mr. Adam Love come Saturday.
For sure, definitely made me to think with both his heart and his mind, and to hear what he has to say is definitely something we would definitely don't want to miss on Saturday.
For sure, my man, for sure. Again, that's all going down this Saturday in Tama, Iowa at the Tama Ballroom. Let's keep going down the list of our line of matches that we got. Apparently, my friend, from what the sources that we have some pretty damn good sources. There's going to be some surprises here at Eminent Wrestling Alliance on Saturday. I'm curious to see what they could be. I mean, we've known in the past that Austin Fouts has worked with people, or EW Management has worked with people as the likings, like you had mentioned earlier. They've worked with Hornswoggle. They've worked with guys like Mike Bennett before. They've worked with Jerry Lynn before.
Right.
I don't know. I think it's gonna be interesting to see what we got in line for some surprises here this week.
We've done shows in front of almost 1,000 people. Yeah, it's when they say that there's something surprise, it's not just fluff of air. Like you mentioned, we've had discussions before. Hey, we're bringing Ken Anderson. We're bringing Mr. Kennedy, Ken Anderson. We're bringing Hornswoggle, and there's things that happen out of our control, like Just Incredible. But we're not going to talk about that. So, what kind of surprise? What kind of surprise do you think that's going to happen?
Man, I don't know. It could be a range of just anything. People. Yeah, I know there's a training class going on at the Forge Wrestling Academy. Are we gonna get ready to see a new talent debut, a new talent come out and possibly cut a promo calling somebody out? I mean, if you're gonna make your stamp known in Eminent Wrestling Alliance, especially after you complete your training course or you get close to it, this is time to do it.
We also have some people maybe coming back from injury too, like for instance, Jacob Erickson. I know he's been hurt for a little bit. Maybe he's coming out and saying, "Hey, I'm back. I'm here. I'm here for a title. I'm here for tag team titles." Because him and Wes Wakefield were, instance, were tagging up before his injury, that Jacob Erickson's injury. And maybe it's the Best in the Midwest Championship that Rugged Pro was gonna have, and end up having to postpone the tournament for that. Maybe it's something with that.
For
Who
sure,
knows?
for sure. It's again just an endless list of possibilities that again you don't want to miss it. You get your butt to Tama Saturday night at 6:30 at the Tama Ballroom, because it's going to be a hell of a great time. And this next matchup that they announced, this one I think is going to leave a lot of people talking. I think this has match of the night potential. No offense to any of the other matches. I know we even have a cage match as our main event, which we'll get to here in just a little bit. Maggie Lee versus Jackson King. You want to talk about two of the great young stars in the Midwest. It don't get
Midwest,
no
sure, yeah.
Yeah, it don't get
Exactly.
no better than this. And Maggie Lee just made her debut on Ring of Honor. I mean, so who knows, you guys, how many more times we're going to be blessed to see Maggie Lee in an Iowa independent professional wrestling ring.
Couldn't have said it any better. National Wrestling Alliance. I know she has been in a show in Chicago there, all over the Chicago style wrestling. Anybody in this promotion right now, she's there. How long we're gonna have her in Iowa? Who knows? Because she is going upward for sure. And Jackson, the man himself, the man that creates controversy, it makes wrestling fans just get out of their seat, which we don't advise, by the way. Please stay behind the barrier.
Yes, please stay behind the barricade.
It reminds me of old Southern style wrestling, where you got to bring a police escort in order to make sure the bad guys can get home safely. But yes, those two, I know they've gone and faced each other in the past, and it was good. If I remember right, it was Boone. But this is before the new fire under Jackson King. This is before the ladder match from Rugged Mania, before he has a chip on his shoulder to pretty much doesn't care about the fans, especially after they have the guts to come jump him in the ring. So, and Maggie Lee, yeah, she's going upward and upward right now. So yeah.
Yeah, again, absolutely. Maggie Lee, we don't know how much longer we're going to see her. We've all been saying that for a while, and her getting a shot on Ring of Honor television, I think it's just the beginning. Say what you want about Ring of Honor. I know it's only just a streaming service, but still, hey, you're getting your eyeballs out there in front of some people. So when people are talking about Maggie Lee.
And Ring of Honor is also owned by Tony Khan.
Yep.
We know the other companies he runs too. So wrestling, there is gimmick, but Forbidden Door, there is boundaries are getting blurrier and blurrier between organizations, and Maggie Lee is getting her toes in the Ring of Honor. That's just the beginning, for sure. With her, absolutely agree. And it's no hype; she is the real deal.
Yeah, 100% couldn't agree with you more. Again, this matchup, in my opinion, is going to leave people talking, and it's easily a match of the night candidate, because you got people who just absolutely love Maggie Lee, and you just got people who absolutely cannot stand Jackson King, especially in the Marshalltown Tama area. So you're going to see, I think, a hell of a good matchup here. Now, again, we couldn't have a Eminent Wrestling Alliance show without having a very own Eminent Wrestling Alliance title on the line. And this matchup, man, is even more interesting because it's a good old-fashioned bull rope match. Reginald Paul Gray defending his Eminent Wrestling Alliance championship against the big bad bull himself, Mr. Angus Kaiser. And if I know my man Angus, he wants that title back.
Never got pinned, never lost it. He had to give it up due to injury. Bull rope match. In preparation for this, I was been YouTubing. I've been watching a lot of the old matches with Dusty Rhodes, watching him with JBL, a lot of the old stuff too. So just to know what to get ready for. Referees, if we don't have them now, get your gloves. It's gonna be bloody for sure. Make sure they're ready to go because it's no disqualification. You got first person to touch all four corners. You got to try to beat the opponent as fast as you can and get them worn out so you can touch all four corners if you want. If it breaks momentum, got to start all over again. No disqualification. So do you think the Eminent's going to have any involvement with this? Dean Wilson or Supernova? What do you think?
I'm going to have to say Dean Wilson will not be far behind.
Because looking at the card, I'm not seeing a Dean Wilson match here so far. So
exactly,
he might. When there's one, there's more.
Yep, exactly. So, but again, I feel sorry for Reginald Paul because you have to lug around the big bad bull Angus for 4 corners, and I believe it's 4 consecutive corners too. It's not just you hit 1, you hit 2. No, it's 4 consecutive corners that you got to do. So Angus, good luck to Reginald Paul Gray. I hope he's working on some sled pulls or something.
And you can't run. You can't run. So you try to run, you can get yanked back. And in between the middle of the bull rope, it's a big old cowbell waiting to hit somebody with the forehead. So, like I said, referee, bring your gloves. You're gonna need them.
Absolutely. And finally, man, we have a matchup that is very rare when it comes to independent pro wrestling. You're starting to see them a little bit more, but it's still very rare, which makes it very special. And of course, we're talking about a cage match, as we are calling it here at Eminent Wrestling Alliance, a cage of chaos. The winner, I believe, is getting a shot at a #1 contendership shot at the EWA title somewhere down the line. And man, we have got some young guns in this matchup here. We have QC Wayne. We have the Big Beasley. We have Gavin Parker. You don't think Gavin's going to try to jump off the top of that cage? I mean, you got JD, you got Wes Wakefield, you got Marley. I mean, talk about young up and coming talent here on the Eminent Wrestling Alliance roster. And yeah, all these guys, they're whipping and raring to go, and a lot of them, it's going to be their first cage match.
Okay, 6 people in a cage all at once. Come to the referee at 7. You're not to be able to move. And there's some beef. QC Wayne and Gavin Parker, they have a rivalry for a little while there. I believe each one has 1 victory apiece. And QC Wayne has made his face known to Gavin Parker, saying, "We're not finished yet. We got to have the rubber match. We got to figure out who wins this match." So to have them going against each other in a steel cage where you can't go anywhere but up, that's going to be painful. Plus, also you have tag team. We talked about at the beginning, the Cobb cousins. We got cousin JD and you got Big Beasley. How are they going to be a team? Are they going to be going out for #1? Who knows? Wes Wakefield, cage match. Anything goes. I wouldn't be surprised if he brings a toy or 2 involved. Seeing him in a No I Quit match with Leon King previously. Yeah, he can play with. He has toys to play with, and won't be surprised if he brings out a toy or 2 for some pain. And of course, our local hero Marley, Marshalltown's own, played about him so many times as a musician. He's the wild card. He's the one that's
I agree.
Ataraxis. He's the one that you don't look out for, and probably my dark horse to win this all.
Well, let's not forget too, Marley, as we talked about beforehand, we were talking about Zach Grigg memories. Marley is this year's Zach Grigg Memorial Battle Royal winner. So
absolutely, excellent point there, partner. Yes, for sure. And talk about memories. That for real is the greatest memory I had. Is being able to raise Marley's hand in the middle of that ring for Zach Grigg Battle Memorial and not shed a tear. Man, I had goosebumps. No lie.
yeah. Again, he was without, and I don't say this lightly, and without Grigg, I don't know how long it would have taken me to discover independent pro wrestling. And that's just straight up. I've said that many, many times because I moved to Marshalltown, fall of 2005 to start college. Met Greg a couple weeks later because he was taking some of the broadcasting classes that I was. He was always coming to school wearing a Raven it was usually a Raven t-shirt that he was wearing. And you know how we wrestling fans are. We see another wrestling shirt in the wild. Yeah. We go, hey, you. And then naturally we just started chatting and he was like, hey, there's a show coming up here. I think it was like a month or so later. He was like, hey, there's a show coming up here in Des Moines. I was like, what the hell kind of show is it? And he said, well, it's a wrestling show. And it was a 3XW show, one of their first few shows because they hadn't been in business very long. And from that moment on, it was all uphill.
For sure. Which brings home a good point is the power of one person.
Yep.
Just bring a friend. You have a friend who really likes wrestling, or you think they might like wrestling. EWA is the perfect place to go. You buy your tickets in advance. You pay like $8 maybe tops.
Yep.
You can't get a McDonald's meal anymore for $8.
I just bought McDonald's last week for me and my kid, and it was damn near $20.
Exactly. And yet 2.5 hours of wrestling of action where you can yell, you can scream, you can say every name under the sun to a wrestler. You watch out, they might give it back, but yes, bring a friend, and who knows what happens. You might end up becoming a wrestling referee.
Absolutely. So again, for more information on this Saturday's show, head over to Eminent Wrestling Alliance Facebook page for all your information. And again, there's a slew of Eminent Wrestling Alliance shows here. I know in a couple weeks, we're going to be back in SWR, Iowa, and I'm sure I'll be chatting with somebody the week of that show as well. So again, it's just a really great time to be a wrestling fan here in the state of Iowa. And Mr. Bridges, again, man, it's always a pleasure to chat with you. We chat pretty often, pretty frequently, and it was a great honor. And I know Greg would be proud to see where you're at and with wrestling. And it's just been a lot of fun here tonight to get you on and talk a little bit about wrestling. Like you said, who would have thought 10 years ago we'd be sitting here doing a preview show for a wrestling promotion we've been, thankful to be a part of.
Right. For sure. The honor is definitely mine and the privilege was mine. So definitely thank you for just letting me talk. Don't get to talk much about wrestling. My family doesn't like hearing about it. Just go and go to the show.
So absolutely. We hope to see everybody at the show this coming Saturday night in Tama, Iowa at the Tama Ballroom. And until next time, we will see you right here on the World Wide Web.